everyone, it is Nurse Montana from Revive at the Kelowna Skin Cancer Clinic, and I am going to be talking about retinol. Retinol is a powerhouse ingredient that is found in skincare, and I absolutely love it, so I thought I would share a little bit about it and some tips and tricks for getting started on a retinol. So just to start off with, retinol comes in pharmaceutical strength, or it comes in just generic cosmeceutical strength. So when you go to, say, Shoppers Drug Mart and you buy something just off the shelf that has retinol in it, it is at a very low strength, like a really low strength. So you're not going to get nearly the same benefit out of a product like that than you would from a pharmaceutical strength retinol from a pharmaceutical skincare line. So the products that I'm talking about are from Alumier MD, which is a pharmaceutical skincare line. So these are going to be a lot stronger than something you would just buy off the counter with no prescription, just to kind of forewarn you on that. So I love Alumier. This line is amazing. We carry this line in the clinic. Myself, the doctors, we all love it, and we've seen really amazing results with it. So to talk about retinol, retinol is a derivative of vitamin A, and when it is packaged into a product, it is to only be used at nighttime. It is photosensitizing, so if you were to put it on during the day and then go out into the sun, you could risk getting a sunburn, especially if you weren't protected with your SPF. So that being said, retinol is a nighttime use only product. So how it works is, the best way to describe it is kind of like a chemical exfoliant. It's going to penetrate into the deeper layers of the skin and encourage cell turnover. So your old cells will kind of break apart, come up to slough off, and new healthy skin can grow in underneath. So what is it targeting? It's helping to target fine lines, wrinkles, scarring, acne, active acne, because it helps to kind of dry it up and turn it over quicker, hyperpigmentation, did I say fine lines and wrinkles? A lot of people use it as a anti-aging product, but oftentimes retinol is actually prescribed for acne if you see it in like Retin-A or something from the drugstore. But we love retinol. It also helps to kind of loosen up so you can slough off sun-damaged skin, which could develop into precancerous lesions. So it's got kind of a medical and a cosmetic benefit to it. Now, there are different strengths of retinol in the Alumier line here. We have a 0.25, a 0.5, and a 1%. 0.25, of course, being the lowest, and 1% being the highest. Now, it's hard to compare one line to another line. So if you say, oh, I've got a retinol at home that says it's a 1%, it's really hard to compare if it would be the same 1% as this, because there are other ingredients in here that can have kind of moisturizing capabilities or other nutrients for the skin. So it's not necessarily easy to compare across the board, but with retinols, most of the time you want to start low and go slow with your use. So I usually recommend, especially for somebody that's younger and doesn't have a ton of sun damage, to start on a 0.25. Now, one pump should be good to do your entire face. If you're going to be going onto the neck or other areas, you're going to need a little bit more. But always keep in mind that your skin on your face is different from the skin on your neck. Things will affect your neck a lot stronger than they will your face. So if you're dragging it down, you're probably going to notice more of an impact on your neck with the chemical exfoliation. So initially, I suggest starting out on a 0.25, and I usually even suggest starting every second or every third night. Sometimes, if you have really sensitive skin, maybe even once or twice a week. But the reason for that is it does have an accumulative effect in the skin. So if you were to put it on every single night, you're putting it on, you don't see anything, at night 6 or 7, day 6 or 7, all of a sudden you're probably going to be a little red, irritated, a little flaky, and clients then often think they've had a reaction to it. And no, it's doing what it's supposed to. It's just that that accumulative effect is quite apparent and you think that something's wrong. So to kind of lower that risk and to make it a little bit more comfortable, I suggest starting with your retinol every couple of nights and then building up your use gradually. So if you want to do it every 2 nights, say for the first 2-3 weeks, then maybe start mixing it in every night. So do 2 nights in a row, skip a night, 2 nights in a row, skip a night, 2 nights in a row, skip a night, something like that, and just really slowly build up your use to it. I find it more tolerable and more comfortable like that, and you're probably going to enjoy the experience more. But ultimately, what it is doing is it's trying to encourage that cell turnover so you can slough off, your brown spots and help to heal in your fine lines and wrinkles and that sort of thing. So it is doing what it's supposed to when you get a little flaky and a little irritated, but again, just so that you can be more comfortable with that process. Now, oftentimes people are good with a 0.25. I personally use between a 0.25 and a 0.5. I'll do this one a couple nights, then do the 0.5 a couple nights, and then a 0.25, and that works for me. But if you do have more damaged skin, bigger concerns, your skin's a little bit thicker, you've had a lot of sun through your life, if you do start on the 0.25, then you're probably going to want to graduate up to the 0.5. Now, again, this is double the strength. So when you start on it again, you may want to skip a night and then kind of mix it in 2 nights on, 1 night off, 2 nights on, 1 night off. And again, just really slowly build it up. Because again, if you go through that phase of being itchy and red and uncomfortable, you might not like it. So again, it's kind of how I would do it. Now, we also have the 1%. The 1% is strong. I personally have never bought a 1%. I've never needed to use a 1%, but I know that I have that kind of in my back pocket for later in life when I have more obvious concerns. But you definitely can build your way up to that if you want. The results, of course, are going to be the best with the 1% because it's working the strongest. But of course, you kind of want to build it up slowly to make that more comfortable. In terms of price point, they starts at about 100 and then graduates up a little bit with each one. To describe how long it's going to last, that's kind of hard to say because it depends on how often you're using it. I usually, for myself, get about 4 months out of a bottle using 1 pump at night. But again, that can differ a little bit with your use. So I would assume maybe you're looking at $30 to $40 or so a month for retinol. And where retinol would come in your routine, you would definitely, because this is a retinol serum, you would wash your face, serums come next, and then moisturizers, eye cream, that sort of thing. So you definitely wouldn't want to put on a thick, rich nighttime moisturizer and then try to put your retinol over top of it. It wouldn't be able to penetrate through. It's too thick. Moisturizers are kind of like Band-Aids for the skin. They're locking and holding in moisture. This wouldn't be able to penetrate through. So you definitely want to put this on first and then your moisturizer over top. And again, only at night. Now, we do have a separate product which is called the Retinol Eye Gel, which is indicated for closer to the eye, up past the orbital rim bone here. You can also use the Retinol Eye on the lips as well too. The strength of that one is going to be a little bit different, of course, because the skin is more sensitive in those areas. So for the face, you would want to go with one of these, but if you are looking for something a little more targeted around the eyes or around the lips, then we do also have a separate retinol eye product for that. And that one is a 0.1, just to compare. 0.25, eye product is 0.1. I hope that answers questions for you about retinol, and if you have any other questions, please feel free to message me or comment, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks.